So I think we are on track for a June first rate cut. Now the broader path for rates, I think, will be up for debate, and maybe other elements of that rate path, the end point destination, the pace at which the ECB cuts rates after a first rate cut, could be more sensitive to US data and Fed policy.
So what are you looking at today's meeting? Because the chances are that the bank won't announce changes to the rate policy for now, but are you after certainty that we'll get that rate cut in June, or are you more interested in understanding what's the path beyond that potential rate cut in June?
I think coming into today's meeting, there'd be plenty of focus on whether President Lagarde can clarify anything about the pace of rate cuts beyond June. I think that's quite unlikely to happen, because the emphasis for the ECB and President Lagarde is on maintaining data dependence. If anything, yesterday's quite hot US CPI print kind of reinforces some of the case for that, and preserving some optionality on that pace of rate cuts. And maybe the ECB, wanting to take stock of the data at quarterly meetings, unless there's a surprise coming from the data before then.
But looking at the latest data from the Eurozone, it is quite encouraging when you look at the inflation dynamics. 2.4% for the month of March, that's pretty close to their target of 2%. What is the risk here that the ECB is actually waiting too long to cut rates? Because there's that lag impact.
Well, I think the way of assessing that is to bring all of those data together within an updated macro forecast. And when the ECB does that in June, it will take stock not just of domestic developments, but also abroad. And it will basically have to judge, is there a risk of an inflation undershoot, born either of inflation dynamics within Europe, or because of more subdued growth, a potential European recovery faltering? At the moment, the activity data are evolving about in line with what the ECB's been expecting, as well as the inflation dynamics. So I don't think the hand of the ECB is forced at this stage to really clarify too much about that, and instead to preserve more optionality.